Lesson 36, A Chance in a Million. We'll talk about an incredible coincidence in this text. What is a chance in a million? What was the chance in a million in this text? Now first, listen and then answer this question. 这个百万分之一的机遇是什么？
We are less credulous than we used to be. In the 19th century, a novelist would bring his story to a conclusion by presenting his readers with a series of coincidences, most of them wildly improbable. Readers happily accepted the fact that an obscure maidservant was really the hero's mother. A long-lost brother, who was presumed dead, was really alive all the time and wickedly plotting to bring about the hero's downfall, and so on. Modern readers would find such naive solutions totally unacceptable. Yet, in real life, circumstances do sometimes conspire to bring about coincidences which anyone but a 19th century novelist would find incredible. When I was a boy, my grandfather told me how a German taxi driver, Franz Bussmann, found a brother who was thought to have been killed 20 years before. While on a walking tour with his wife, he stopped to talk to a workman. After they had gone on, Mrs. Bussmann commented on the workman's close resemblance to her husband, and even suggested that he might be his brother. Franz poured scorn on the idea, pointing out that his brother had been killed in action during the war. Though Mrs. Bussmann was fully acquainted with this story, she thought that there was a chance in a million that she might be right. A few days later, she sent a boy to the workman to ask him if his name was Hans Bussmann. Needless to say, the man's name was Hans Bussmann, and he really was Franz's long-lost brother. When the brothers were reunited, Hans explained how it was that he was still alive. After having been wounded towards the end of the war, he had been sent to hospital and was separated from his unit. The hospital had been bombed, and Hans had made his way back into Western Germany on foot. Meanwhile, his unit was lost, and all records of him had been destroyed. Hans returned to his family home, but the house had been bombed, and no one in the neighborhood knew what had become of the inhabitants. Assuming that his family had been killed during an air raid, Hans settled down in a village 50 miles away, where he had remained ever since.
So what is a chance in a million? And what was the chance in a million in this text? A chance in a million in English means an extremely slight possibility, 极小的可能性. And the chance in a million in this text refers to the fact that Franz found his brother Hans, who was thought to have been killed 20 years before. So this text tells us about an improbable but real story. Notice how the author has prepared us for this story. It first introduces modern people's attitude towards a chance in a million. The author makes a comparison between us and the 19th century readers. We, modern people, do not usually believe a chance in a million, but the 19th century readers, they easily believed the coincidences invented by the novelists. Only after this introduction does the author say that in real life, sometimes coincidences do happen. A chance in a million does exist. After this introduction, his story appears to be more credible. Okay, now let's look at some language points in the text. We are less credulous than we used to be. Credulous means easily believe in something because of naivety. 通常呢是出于一种幼稚的轻信。Look at this example. You are credulous to believe even half of what they promised. 你要是信了他们承诺的事情的一半的话，你可就太轻信了。A novelist would bring his story to a conclusion, means bring his story to an end. Conclusion 在这句话中是故事的结尾的意思。Conclusion 还有另外一个词义，就是结论。For example, did you come to or reach or draw any conclusion? 你是否做出了任何结论？ Most of them wildly improbable. Wildly means extremely improbable. 它还经常跟这样的形容词搭配 wildly inaccurate, which means extremely inaccurate. Wildly expensive, shockingly expensive. Improbable means unlikely. 表示不可能，我们知道还有 impossible 这个单词。它们两个单词有什么区别吗？ Look at this example. It is improbable that he will say no, but not impossible. 所以 improbable means unlikely. 他拒绝这件事情不太可能 but not impossible. Not something that cannot be. 不能说完全没有这种可能性。So notice the difference between the two words. Readers happily accepted the fact that an obscure maidservant was really the hero's mother. Happily here doesn't mean cheerfully, but willingly. 就是非常情愿的。Look at this example. I'll happily offer to help if he asks. 只要他问我的话，我很愿意提供帮助。An obscure maidservant. Obscure means unknown, not famous. 不知名的，无名的。We can describe a person as obscure. For example, an obscure painter is some painter who is not famous. Or we can also describe a place as obscure. An obscure town is a town which is not famous. A long-lost brother who was presumed dead. Presume means believe something or accept something, especially something untrue, as true, until proven. 在被证实之前，以为或者假设什么事情是真的。So, who was presumed dead means who was believed to be dead, but who was not necessarily dead. Look at more examples. You are presumed innocent until you are proved guilty. 在你被证实有罪之前，你会被先假定为是无辜的。I presume them to be friends. 我以为他们是朋友。这句话还可以表达成为 I presumed that they were friends. 所以 presume 这个动词后边既可以加由 that 引导的从句，也可以用 presume somebody to be 或者 presume 后边加上一个形容词的结构。Wickedly plotting to bring about the hero's downfall. Wickedly 意思就是邪恶的，它强调的尤其是道德上的邪恶。Plotting to do something 计划做什么事情，但是跟 plan 不同。Plot means plan something secretly in order to do harm, 就是策划有害的事情。For example, they are plotting to take over the company, means they're secretly planning to take over the company. 暗中策划接管公司。Bring about the hero's downfall. Bring about means cause. For example, computers have brought about many changes in our lives. 电脑给我们的生活中带来了很多变化。The hero's downfall. Downfall means sudden and complete destruction， 就是一个毁灭性的结局。We can say the downfall of a person, or the downfall of a family, or even the downfall of a government. Look at this example. In the end, it was drinking that was his downfall. Downfall here means the cause of his downfall. 最终呢，是喝酒毁了他。这里 downfall 是指引起毁灭性结局的原因。And so on， 如此等等。英文中表达这个意思还可以说 and so forth， or and so on and so forth. Modern readers would find such naive solutions totally unacceptable. Naive 用来形容人或者一种态度的幼稚或者天真。表达这层含义，英文中还有 childish 和 innocent 两个近似的词。childish 孩子气的、天真的 ，innocent 天真的或者无知的。But notice naive is a disapproving word. 但是 naive 跟这两个词不同的在于 naive 带有贬义色彩。Circumstances do sometimes conspire to bring about coincidences. Conspire means to plot together. 同谋 or several events together ruin. 一些事情合伙起来毁掉了什么东西。Look at this example. The bad weather and the traffic jam conspired to ruin their day out. 糟糕的天气和塞车一起呢，毁掉了他们出去游玩的这一天。Would find incredible. Incredible 有两层词义，在课文中是说 very strange or too strange to believe， 难以置信的。另外一层词义呢，就是 remarkable. For example, an incredible genius， 一个非常了不起的天才。Mrs. Busman commented on the workman's close resemblance to her husband. Comment on 对什么事情加以评论。For example, No, please don't comment on my new haircut. 别再对我新剪的头发议论了。We can also use comment that and then add a clause. He just commented that people were getting married later nowadays. 他刚刚呢议论说，现在人们结婚晚了。The workman's close resemblance to her husband. Close resemblance means very strong resemblance, 非常相像。Resemblance 后边的介词既可以用 between, the resemblance between the brothers, 也可以像课文一样用 to. For example, he bears a resemblance to his brother. 他和他的兄弟很像。Franz poured scorn on the idea. Pour scorn on means to show contempt. 非常鄙夷这种说法。Pointing out that his brother had been killed in action. Point out means you tell somebody about something, especially something not thought of or forgotten. 指出或者提醒不容易记起来的事情。Look at this example. He pointed out that the information could be wrong. 他提醒说，这个信息有可能是错误的。Mrs. Busman was fully acquainted with this story, which means she knew the story very well. 非常熟悉这个故事。We can use be acquainted with a person or with something. 与人或者与物都可以用这个词组。For example, when she was in Paris, she became acquainted with many artists. 她在巴黎的时候呢，结识了很多艺术家。My secretary is acquainted with all the details of the program. 我的秘书对这个项目所有的细节都很了解。 Needless to say, the man's name was Hans. Needless to say means as you would expect. It's used to describe something not surprising or very obvious. 课文里的意思就是不用说你也猜到了。Or look at this example. Needless to say, we'll pay you for what you do, which means this is quite obvious. 很显然，我们会给你付费的。Hans explained how it was that he was still alive. How it was means how come, why he was still alive. 这里 how 是用来表示原因的。For example, how is it that you don't know? 你怎么会不知道呢？ Hans had made his way back into Germany. Make one's way means to move towards some place slowly or with efforts. Look at this example. With a wounded leg, he can only make his way around the house slowly. 因为腿伤了，他只能在房子附近费劲地转来转去。Make 也可以换成其他动词来形容行走的方式。For example, he elbowed his way to the front of the crowd, which means he pushed his way with his elbow. 这里 elbow 就形容了他走到人群前面的方式，是用手臂推开阻拦的人们。No one knew what had become of the inhabitants. What had become of somebody or something, or you can use other tenses. 也可以使用其他时态，意思是 what happened to these people. For example, what became of him after he left home? 他离开家之后又发生了什么事情？ Hans settled down in a village. Settle down, 安顿下来。Give you one more example. His parents would like to see him settle down, get married, and have kids. 这篇课文因为讲到了对 a chance in a million 的不同态度，我们来看看课文是如何表达信和不信的。We are less credulous than we used to be. 这是一个 direct statement, 直接的陈述，用形容词 credulous 来表达轻而易举的相信。Readers happily accepted the fact. 这里是用动词 accept 来表达相信。又加上 happily to emphasize the readiness. 表达不信的时候呢，注意语气更为强烈。Most of them wildly improbable. Improbable, the unlikelihood, 不可能性。And then wildly is used to emphasize. Modern readers would find such naive solutions totally unacceptable. 这里呢，使用的是 accept 它的形容词的否定形式，又用 totally 来强调 complete disbelief. Coincidences which anyone but a 19th century novelist would find incredible. 这里呢，是通过句式来表达 no modern people would believe such a coincidence. 课文在讲到信和不信的态度的时候，把现代读者和19世纪小说的读者做了一个对比。课文告诉我们说，那个时候的读者 they readily accepted any facts invented by the novelists. 这里呢，涉及到这样一个背景，在小说在英国刚刚兴起的时候 many of the novels were especially written for the housewives or ladies who didn't go to work at that time, so that they could read novels to entertain themselves. 小说那个时候通常是写给没有职业的家庭妇女，供她们消遣的，所以就要求内容简单，善恶分明 ，good and evil are clear-cut， 而且人物也要简单，有一个正面人物 a hero， 还有一个反面人物 a villain。情节也要求惊险，因为那个时候的小说通常是在报刊或者杂志上连载的， There need to be a lot of suspenses. 这样读者才能有兴趣读下去。课文中谈到 modern readers are less credulous. 是否真的如此呢？其实课文中讥讽的小说很像现在的肥皂剧 soap opera. The only difference is that we have different mass media nowadays. 再说回到这篇课文的故事本身，作者说 Anyone but a 19th century novelist would find it incredible. We are not 19th century novelists. Do we believe in this chance in a million? 不管我们信还是不信，在这一点上，可能我们和19世纪的读者并没有什么分别。我们都喜欢一个大团圆的结局，英文中就是 a happy ending. Okay, so much on this topic. See you next time.